Hey everybody! In this video, you're going to learn how to use piece control in Fortnite. Most players understand piece control as the idea of aggressively building toward an enemy player to trap them and finish a fight quickly. Piece control needs to be fast, it needs to be efficient, but above all else, it needs to be safe, and that's what most players miss. I've seen way too many players edit coursing opponents, boxing them up, and then forcing a bad 50-50. And then they wonder why all their creative practice doesn't help them win fights. The best way to turn that bad piece control into good piece control is by going back to the basics and learning exactly what you should be doing in every possible piece control situation. Let me explain what I mean by that. There are many different methods for trapping a player inside your builds, and for each method there is a best way to follow through on that piece control and find a safe angle to shoot. For example, the most common method for trapping a player is by placing a ramp over them and placing 3 walls around them. That's the easy part. The next step is to make some kind of edit to shoot the player. This is where many of you start making mistakes. The worst thing you can do in this situation is edit the ramp. The enemy player will always get the first shot, and even if they miss, you're in the same box with that player, which makes it very hard to reset the fight. By editing the ramp like this, you're fully committing to a bad 50-50. So instead, you should always try to edit through the closest wall on the left or right. If you edit through the right wall, place a cone at your feet, look back and change the wall edit from the top left 3-tile corner edit to a right window. If you edit through the left wall, place a cone at your feet, look back at the ramp and edit the right column of ramp edit tiles like this. Standing on a cone is very important here. It gives you a chance to protect yourself if a bad player sprays through the wall, and it prevents a good player from countering your piece control with a rotated ramp. Good piece control is all about finding these safe peek angles immediately after trapping your opponent. Now you should understand what to do when you trap a player under a ramp, but there are so many other positions that you also have to learn. And the best way to learn those different positions is by using practice maps in creative mode. To start, I recommend using version 1 of Raiders Piece Control Practice Map. You can find that map code in the video description below. Raiders piece control maps include a bunch of realistic piece control positions. I'm going to show how I practice each of these drills, so feel free to follow along using the number at the top of the screen.
Yep, right here. Yes, the wood flip. Yeah. I'm setting up an arc from here.
As you practice each drill, focus on moving the shortest possible distance before finding a peak angle. Your goal is to be fast, efficient, and safe. You don't need to make 3 edits when 2 edits works just as well. You also don't need to rush into a box. It's always safer to keep your distance and position yourself for a right-hand peek. You always need to place a cone or a ramp whenever you move around to follow through on your piece control. That one piece keeps your opponent from blocking you, and it gives you extra space to safely peek or reposition. Finally, make sure you always place an extra wall close to yourself. For example, when you look for piece control from high ground, your opponent can easily block your double edits with a wall. To catch them off guard, place a floor and a cone, then add a wall and edit through all 3 like this. Once you can make it through all 16 scenarios while comfortably placing every extra build, keeping your distance, and finding safe peaks, you can start testing these formulas against real players. From the lobby, open the Discover tab and scroll to the popular maps. To practice piece control, you need to find low-pressure, free-for-all game modes like BHE 1v1 build fights or the Pit free-for-all. Click play, find some weapons, and work on trapping your opponents just like you did in the practice map. As you start using piece control against real players, you'll sometimes feel punished for trying to trap your opponents. In Chapter 3 Season 1, for example, using piece control successfully was really hard.
Hello.
With all the strong spray weapons, your opponents just plow through your walls unless you're very fast with every piece control drill you use. If you're trying to learn piece control during a season with spray weapons, try taking a break and practicing movement, safe peeks, setups, and pre-fires instead of grinding piece control.
Watch his hands. Watch his hands. Here he comes.
There's a lot to practice, and this video barely scratches the surface of what's possible, so if you have any questions, I'm happy to help if you tune into my live streams at twitch.tv/Billy_Bicep. Have fun practicing, thanks for using code Billy-Bicep in the item shop, and I'll see you in the next one.